This is your one and only and final warning that we're doing the live chat thing again tomorrow, so Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Bring a good attitude because I'm really getting tired of blocking people. So that's it. That's really all I need to say here. But yesterday, late last night, I finally took my test. Now, I've been real coy about what my big exam was all about. You knew I was studying for mortgages. And then what happened was I was going to do the mortgage thing because I'm good at math and I don't like people. And that's kind of what mortgages are about. But I watched a YouTube channel about a mortgage officer, and he did a day in the life of a mortgage officer. And it was him at his desk in a suit, which I can't be bothered with that. And he's on the phone with a real estate agent, and the agent is ripping him a new asshole. I mean, like, tearing this guy to pieces because something went wrong on the loan, which, like, it's not necessarily the loan officer's fault, but that's what agents do. And it's just, like, going into this guy, and the guy is trying to keep his business, right? So I know, I understand and all that, and I'm watching this video and I'm thinking, all I could visualize was taking that agent's head and holding it just under the surface of a shallow pool and maintaining eye contact and watching the little bubbles come out of their nose until it stopped. Like, that's how I would handle that confrontation. And he's over there saying, I understand how you feel. I'm like, fuck how that guy feels. He's rude. So I finished watching that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I could do the mortgage loan officer thing, because I would fist fight every agent who called me and yelled at me. So the problem is my business died a quick death with COVID, and nobody wants to pay any money for anything now because nobody's working. So how am I going to reinvent this? Well, I'm good at photos and I'm good at video and I love old houses and I'm mean. So I should be a real estate agent. So that's what I did. I took I've been like holding this book sideways so that nobody can see what's in it. Because if I didn't pass the test, there was not another ounce of bad news that I could handle this year. I was going to take Bob I wouldn't sacrifice Bob. Bob is a beautiful truck. I was going to take the War Wagon, and I don't know how I would do this, but push it over the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge and turn it into an artificial reef with me in it. Like, I had just had enough. So I didn't want to say anything until it was over with and done. And the great news is that I passed it. Now, there are so many people who have their real estate exam, and like that's kind of why I didn't want to be a real estate agent, was because I feel like getting your real estate license is what every failed bartender does. It's like, you know, it seems like something that like people get it when they don't know what they want to do with their lives. And that explains why we have so many bad real estate agents. But it just seemed to check a lot of the boxes on things that I'm already good at. And then also, I want to preserve my ability to travel. And if you go get a JOB, then you lose control of how much money you make and you lose control of your vacation schedule. I mean, I would have to go in and like kiss the rings to get 2 weeks off every year. So at least, you know, with this, it's kind of like you run your own business within a business. So I can still travel when I want to, ideally, or at least I have more say in the whole deal. But I'm going to say, do you want a story? Of course you want a story. That's why you all are here, because bad things happen to me all the time and it's fun to listen to. But this is the textbook that they give you. This is, I mean, just stupid. The one for mortgages is like this. Like, that's it. You have to know a bunch of laws. This thing is insane. It was $75. When they gave me this, I was like, how do you have to know all this information? And yet we have so many shitty agents. How? You obviously don't have a good test. But it has been 2 months of just nothing but reading and reading and reading. And then look, like, you know how you're supposed to get flashcards for hard to understand concepts and like boldface words? Oh no, I bought stock in, and look at this, I indexed the whole entire book. Look, it's almost an exact, I just turned the whole book into index cards, and I'm just sitting here all day long and reading all these terms and trying to memorize and learn. And then 5-hour long Zoom classes which Zoom classes are nice because I don't actually have to be around anybody, but it's terribly distracting because there was one woman on the class. She was absolutely stunning. That has nothing to do with this story, but she vaped for half the class. So it looked like that cat from Alice in Wonderland sitting on the couch and then like into her computer screen. I mean, I could barely concentrate. It was a mess. But just, there's so much information and it's so much law to keep you from getting sued and like from the company from getting sued. I mean, just everything from how houses are built, although they don't focus on this enough, to just different government regulations. And the pass rate on this exam is less than 50%. So what most agents do to get they have to take it multiple times, but every time you take it, it's $100. It just gets very, very expensive. So I studied my brains out to get this done, and I was super nervous. Also, I'll say, this cost $75, like I said. And you know how we've been talking about turning liabilities into assets? Well, the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was list this bitch. That's right. For $50, the next generation of agents can have this book. Yep. Getting rid of that is fat. Why would I keep this? But this, like keeping this is what people do. They keep stuff they don't need anymore. If someone doesn't buy it, I am going to put it on a little raft and then shoot an arrow, a flaming arrow from the shore and give it a Viking funeral in the bay down the street. That's what I'm going to do. I don't need it anymore. Don't want it. No, thank you. I'm good. Suffered long enough. Anyway, so the test was 2 hours away. 2 hours. So I had to drive to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville is called Fayette-Nam. Fayette-Nam because that's where Fort Bragg is. And it's kind of a dump. So Fayette-Nam, went out there, took Bob because Bob is good luck. I wore my Lucky Detroit Police Department t-shirt. And I had to leave extra time to get out there because to get from where I am to Fayette-Nam, you have to go through all of our agriculture area. So our turkey houses, our chicken houses, the hog houses, and cows. And usually, if I show up late somewhere, it's because I saw a cow. So when you're driving with me, if you want to know what that experience is like, especially out in the country, it's like this. You know, I'm probably speeding. And I've got the radio up all the way. And I'm like trying to get all pumped up. I drank a Bang, I don't have one anymore, a Bang energy drink. JB has got me like hooked on those. They're this much and it's nothing but human lighter fluid. You drink one of those and you can see feelings. And I'm like jacked up. I want to kick down a door, but I can't. I got to go sit in a test for 3 hours. So I'm driving Bob. I'm listening to like crazy music, getting all pumped up. And then I see a cow. And then it happens all the time. I got to slow down to an absolute crawl, roll down the window. And then I say, oh, y'all look so pretty. Just a big snuggle snoot. I'm like talking to the cows. They don't know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. They're beautiful and someone should tell them that they're beautiful. And that person is me. So I'm on the side of the road just telling them how they're so precious and y'all have the cutest babies and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, I'm blocking up traffic behind me. So there's always some guy in another pickup truck who's going to beep. And then I'm telling them, you make eye contact with that mirror. And you just say, yeah, asshole. Yeah, you'll get to where you're going. Y'all are so pretty. Just so pretty, so pretty. Put the window back up. Return to normal driving speed and just do one of these. Yeah, people are so rude. I mean, they're beautiful. I love cows. People, not so much. But cows and dilapidated buildings, yes. All right, so I finally get to this test site. And the test was horrible. It was nothing like any of the practice. So I've got all this, right? All this, and then all the cards in the world, and then just pages and pages. These are all the notes I took. There was nothing that I can't possibly know. So, like, how could I be underprepared? But very few people pass this test. So the national part was fine. There's a national and state part, but I'll tell you, the state section, if you're going to take your real estate exam, is where most people fail, and it was brutal. First of all, I thought they combined both sections, so it said 90 questions, and I'm like going through, and I'm feeling good, yep, like the Bang energy drinks pumping through my veins. And I get to the 90th question and I finish and I'm like, oh, that was awesome. I killed that thing. And then it said, and now for the next part of the test. And I still had 45 more to go. And it went on forever and ever. And the questions were so confusing. Nothing was straightforward. It was all these like hypothetical scenarios, which is not how we studied for this exam. But I'll give you an idea of like, so when you, in North Carolina, when you buy a house, like two married people, of course it's two married people, Casey, it can't be three. This isn't some of the southern states. Anyway, you buy the house on the deed, they're called tenants or joint tenants entirety, meaning like you both have an equal stake to the home, you can't sell your portion of the home out from underneath your spouse, and if you die, they automatically inherit your stake of the property. It doesn't like go to your heirs, right? So tenants in entirety, that's what it's called. So a reasonable question would be something that bullet pointed one of those facts that I just mentioned, right? And like, that's how I studied for it with my nice little cards. Oh no. The questions are like, Jim and Sally started dating 6 years ago, but it was on and off for a while, and Sally wasn't really into it. And then they got engaged, but he bought her a shitty ring. And then they got married, and then a couple months later, Jim started sleeping with his secretary, and Sally found out, so she left his ass. And then he got on Tinder, and Sally found out that she was actually more in love with women than men. But they got back together, and then they separated again, and now she owns a bunch of cats and lives in an apartment. What is the current status of their deed situation? And you're like, what? What? Like, A, B, C, D, which one is it? I'm like, where is the fill-in? Where is option E? Option E should be, y'all need to go to therapy. You don't need to be owning property together. You shouldn't even be buying groceries together. What in the hell? I couldn't even concentrate because they were just the weirdest questions that to try to figure out. But I guess that's what you deal with a real estate. Being a real estate agent is because people have messy lives and you're mostly a therapist who happens to know a thing or two about deeds. And then some of the questions were just really distracting. Like the first one, I forget which section, it was like which class of people is or is not protected by fair housing laws? And it was like A, B, C, D, Jews, Arabs, farmers, homosexuals. I'm like, what? I'm sitting there going like, because it sounds like the start of a really inappropriate joke, right? And they have cameras all over the classroom watching you to make sure that you don't collude or cheat with the other people in the room. And it is all I can do in my chair not burst out laughing and lean around the divider next to me and be like, hey man, I got a joke. Okay. A Jew, an Arab, a farmer, and a homosexual go to buy a house. No, I haven't gotten to the punchline yet. Hold on. Oh, you're not on that portion yet? Well, hurry the fuck up, man. It's a funny joke. Get to that part and then tap me over the shoulder. What? That wasn't how we studied. Nowhere in the book did it specifically talk about farmers and homosexuals and anything to do with the... It's distracting. That's not a fair test. When I took the SAT, the first question, remember it was like 2 words with the semicolon in between? I don't even remember what the point of that was. But the first time I took the SAT, the very first word was bombastic. And for the next 3 hours of the test, all I could hear in my head was... They call me Mr. Boombastic. Very fast. I mean, like that. You can't bait me with that and then expect me to get anything right from there on. It's funny. Anyway, I was not, when I finished the state portion of the exam, first of all, it was like 11 o'clock at night at that point. I didn't think I was going to pass it. And at the 43 out of 45 questions on the last part, I just stopped what I was doing and said a little prayer and was like, Nothing has worked out this year. It's all been shit. I have very low will to keep doing anything right now. And so this is just yours. And if I pass it, then we'll do the damn thing and hopefully reclaim a lot of my travel that I've not been able to afford. But I'm here. And then I got to 45 and I hit enter to end. And then it said pass. And I was like, I almost cried through my mask. They make you wear a mask. We all have to, because we're still doing that thing for reasons that I don't know why. But okay, well, so there's your fun story for the day. And we're going to have a story tomorrow too before the chat. And I will take you on the war wagon is a little bit messy right now because I have just lived on the makeout couch doing nothing but reading that stupid book. But the story that you'll hear tomorrow has to do with that. That right there. That. Because managing a toilet and the tanks when you own an RV, when you live in an RV, is the small hell that you will have to figure out. And I have had a lot of trouble with mine. Every single person I know or who I've networked with online who lives full-time in their rig has had issues with their toilet and their tanks. And so we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk shit. And then we're going to talk shit. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Anyway, reminder, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, I have who I'll now call the 4 horse ladies of the apocalypse are the moderators on this one. So don't bring your bullshit. We don't put up with that here. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Sunday Eastern. Write that down. Bye.